This is my 2007 Vulcan 900 Classic. It's got a problem here with an O-ring on the coolant. It's going right in here to the front cylinder. Just started leaking. It just kind of started, it was leaking from up here very slightly at first, and I tightened this, and then it started leaking here. So I tightened this, and then it started blowing this O-ring down here, and when it got to there, it turned into a bigger problem. So my best guess is that the thermostat, which is, I believe, in here, isn't opening correctly. So I'm going to take that out and check it, make sure that it works correctly. I could probably make a video of doing that, how to check it properly. I removed the gas tank to get to this. It wasn't too terribly difficult. There's two bolts down here, one right here, one right here. I believe it's a 12mm socket. These plugs up here come off the speedo, and this is the reservoir, or the overflow. Got to take that off. This was kind of a bugger to take off right here. You just gotta pull that down and pull it out. You didn't have to mess with this at all. You could just do that, but I was having difficulty with it, so I had to pull it off, which isn't hard. It's just 3 bolts on the other sides. And then you just take a flathead, pull this tab on the fuel line, pull it off, and then you're free and clear to pull the tank off and set it somewhere safe. I set mine over there on some sandbags. But now we've got a clear view of this. Also, they don't make it easy on this Vulcan 900 to drain the coolant. So what I had to do is you have to get relief up here at the cap. So you want to pull that off, but you can't do that until you pull the gas tank. But also on the other side of this Vulcan, clear down underneath here, there's a 10mm bolt that underneath the exhaust that comes off and drains. And it's way underneath here. I don't know if you can actually see it or not. I'm going to try and get it in there, but it's way underneath here. It's right below this case right here on the right side, sitting on it. It's right underneath here. Extremely difficult to get the camera down there, so I'm sure that you guys will be able to find it just fine. When you unloosen it, if the cap's not loosed, it's not going to drain much until you get that cap loosened, and then it'll flow, perfectly fine. But doing all that just to drain the coolant is kind of, not convenient at all. But that's what you got to do. And then for the reservoir, you just unstop the this plug down here, and then it'll drain out. But I haven't done that yet. I'll probably do that before I change all the coolant and everything. But that's just kind of a walk around for right now where I'm at, and what you have to do just to get to what you're working on. I'm gonna take this apart and see where we're at, and so just bear with me. First, there's a 10mm bolt right in here that holds the thermostat housing to the frame of the body, or the frame of the motorcycle. You just loosen that, or take it off. No, that's not 10mm. Okay, set that aside. Or actually, usually I just put it back in the hole it came out of, if I can do that. Okay. Loosen these clamps. Just need a Phillips head. I loosen the two on either side of the housing. Pull the housing first. There's a connector up here that you can just pulls right off. That's the temperature sensor. Also a hose right here for overfill that goes into the overflow tank. You can pull that off. And you just wiggle it on out of the tubes. And there you go, there's the thermostat housing. Take these 4 bolts off. Four millimeter. And here's the thermostat. Oops, and it drops out. This is the thermostat. It's pretty expensive. So testing it is definitely worth the money and worth the time spending to just take this off. So instead of just replacing it, a rubber O-ring right here, and it looks like that's all there is really to it. Really simple housing. I'm gonna go put this in some water and test it. That'll be another video, I'm sure. Okay, so this is how you test the thermostat. This is in a Vulcan 900. It's fully seated. I've already heated it up, but cooled it off just for this demonstration. But grab it with some pliers, throw it in here, get the water pretty close to boiling, toss it in there, and you should see it start to open as it heats up. Right there, it opens pretty quickly. You'll definitely know whether it's working or not, because it opens quite a bit. But that's how those things work. So this one is definitely good. Slap it back in the bike and we'll be good to go. Okay, the thermostat was just fine. It opens just fine. I don't know what the problem was, besides that maybe the O-ring was just a little worn down. We're going to take it apart. We'll see if it makes more sense when it's all apart. I don't know. Maybe we'll just replace the O-ring and call it good. But there's a 10mm bolt on the inside of here holding this pipe together. So let me reposition. Maybe it'll be better from over here. The bolt is on the inside right there. Just loosen that. Take the extension off. Loosen this clamp right here. Pull it off. I'm gonna wait to pull that off. Oh. Pipe just wiggles on a here's the O-ring. Really just a simple one. Probably try and match it up at a hardware store if I can. No, I'll have to order the OEM part.